like a little stand, then it gets all messed up. So, good morning. Happy Tuesday, not Monday. It's Tuesday, June 1st. Can't believe it's June. It's going to be a hot week. Let's start off with our daily pledge. Today is a new day. I am ready to be the best me I can be. I will listen so I can learn. I will try hard so my brain can grow. I will not give up. I can learn anything I put my mind to. Today's a new day. It's a new week. We're done with a long holiday weekend. If you are in need of any sort of supports, make sure you're reaching out to your case manager, your arms worker, your therapist, whatever your support team is, your natural supports, and everybody get back on track for the week. Start working on your goals. Start maybe cleaning your home, whatever you have on your schedule, your agenda. Make a task list. Start moving and start working. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Did you wake up feeling great this morning? If so, use that energy, apply it to your day. Make sure you're working on getting everything done around your house, going to appointments. Maybe if you woke up feeling really great, you're going to go have coffee with a friend and so on. Whatever it is that you can do to use that energy, do that today. But if you didn't wake up feeling so great today and you've had a crummy weekend, let's get out our toolbox and our tool bag. Let's start working on ways to help ourselves. Remember our circle of control. We cannot control the things around us. All we can do is focus on ourselves, make ourselves feel better. We have lots of tools in our toolbox. We just can't forget them when we need them. So how are you feeling and what can you do to help yourself? So today, like I said, I'm all over the place. One of the things that jumped out at me was some talking about anxiety. It's interesting. We just got over a full moon. And one thing I think about as we move into this hot weather is that hot weather can actually trigger people. Hot weather and the change of the season again can trigger people, their anxiety, their panic. Some people start to worry that when the weather gets hot, they're worried about storms. And so even though it's sunny out and we enjoy the warm weather and we're happy to be through winter, a lot of this weather and the seasons changing and what have you can also trigger symptoms. And so I wanted to just talk a little bit about that. Again, you can never go over topics enough so that you can keep reminding yourself of things and thinking about things and finding new ways to help yourself. I liked this little worksheet I found. It was talking about stages of anxiety. So again, changes of the season, seasonal affective disorder, like we talked about weeks ago, doesn't just happen in the fall or the winter. It can happen in the spring and summer. And like I said, this weather and warming up can really start to trigger people because they worry about certain things. So these are stages of anxiety. There's typical anxiety, generalized anxiety, they say, and severe anxiety. So typical anxiety is usually caused by stress, nervousness, worry, for an upcoming event or things that you have going on. It doesn't last long, but it kind of is that flight or fight of like warns of danger. When you have just kind of that typical anxiety that generally sparks when you have a lot on your plate or something's coming up that you're thinking about, anniversaries, what have you, that's that typical anxiety. What can you do to help yourself? You can exercise, make sure you're eating right, limiting your caffeine, make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, deep breathing, listening to music. It's kind of like our basic coping skills. If you're feeling anxious because of stress or worry, or you're just a little overwhelmed, let's make sure we're sleeping, making sure you're doing like a list, doing music or listening to music, whatever it is, to just kind of, like I said, it doesn't last long, but it's kind of one of those things that gets us going. So let's not feed into it. Let's not ruminate and overthink about it. Let's use our coping skills. So now general anxiety is different, and this is something that can happen consistently, and it can happen for really no reason. You're not necessarily sure what it is that you're worrying about, but it just happens. Some signs and symptoms of generalized anxiety. Some people call it GAD, generalized anxiety, whatever you want. It's persistent, excessive, and unrealistic about everyday things. It's just kind of that constant worrying about something in your apartment, worrying about a friend, worrying about the grocery store, worrying about dinner, worrying about your appointment. Do you see how it's just keeps going? It's kind of like a circle. It's just persistent and excessive. It's the inability to relax, that restlessness, difficulty concentrating, nauseas, fatigue, insomnia. It starts easily. You don't have to have anything like major to trigger it. It just happens. You get up, and you start worrying about the day, and then it just keeps going all day long, and a heart racing and shakiness. So generalized anxiety is just that constant excessive worrying about everything. There's nothing in particular, it's just something all day long. What can you do to help yourself? Meditation, mindfulness. We've talked about DBT skills, and maybe we need to go back over that. There's just so many different avenues of DBT, but I'll pick a new one. But mindfulness is one of those. Exercising, eating right, and sleep. Again, exercise, eating right, and sleep are some of the main components of any sort of recovery process in mental health. Sleep is so huge because if you don't get enough sleep, emotionally, you can't also handle anything that's coming your way, and you're easily overwhelmed. But most importantly, eating right. If you're eating a lot of junk food and sugar, that's contributing to your anxiety, and we'll get to that. Make sure you're limiting your caffeine. Make sure you're using self-care. Take good care of yourself. Showering, clean clothes, making sure you're making a list, getting your calendar out, taking your medications, brushing your teeth, just taking good care of yourself. And counseling and therapy and prescription medication are also some of the ways that can maybe help you through that. And if it gets to the point where it's just really excessive and really limiting your day, it's debilitating, obviously that's where therapy and medication are really impactful, because there are just more ways that you need to deal with it than just eating and exercising. Severe anxiety, which almost turns into panic, and we're going to go over that too. Severe panic attacks. When you have such extreme anxiety, it turns into panic, shortness of breath, the feeling of being smothered or choked, chest pain. It's hard to breathe. Sweating, palpitations, feeling like you're having a heart attack, feeling numb or detached, like you're lost your marbles. Sometimes when our anxiety is so bad, you feel like you've just kind of lost it. You just feel like the wheels have spun off the track, so to speak. It's intense fear, trembling, or flashbacks. It's kind of like PTSD. If it gets to this point, this is such a scary place to be all alone. I hope that in that moment when you are feeling that way, you have somebody you can turn to or call. Get out your coping skills toolbox or your tool bag and just start working on ways that you can relax, unwind, breathe, refocus, be mindful. Prescription medication is also something that can be used in this moment. Counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy. Some people use EMDR. Now, don't ask me to, I can't remember what that stands for off the top of my head, but a lot of people, it's just kind of like bringing up certain things and healing it. And so we don't have that panic. We don't have that PTSD. And there are a few therapists in town here that do perform EMDR counseling services. And if you need that information, reach out and we'll get that to you for sure. Okay, so 12 things that are going to make your anxiety worse. Skipping meals. Do not skip meals. Your body needs that. It needs that to process and to stay strong and to feel better. Remember the saying, hangry? Don't get hangry. That makes us worse. It makes us edgy, irritable, anxious, and crabby. Don't skip meals. It makes you hangry. Don't eat a lot of sugar. Sugar can speed up our heart rates. It helps us so that makes our anxiety, our depression worse. Stay away from it. Poor eating habits, not exercising, watching the news. Let's be honest. Watching TV in generally makes our anxiety worse. There's nothing good on TV. Shut the TV off. Ignoring your anxiety will make it worse. If you ignore it and stuff it and assume that it's going to get better, in turn it's going to get worse. It's like putting a cheap piece of tape on a water leak. What's going to happen eventually? It's going to explode all over the place, right? So you have to deal with it as it comes. Don't ruminate about it, but as it's coming to the surface, process it, think about it. What are you worrying about? Maybe you need to do pros and cons lists. Maybe you need to do HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? What's going on? Are you overwhelmed? As your anxiety surfaces and as your worries and fears are coming up, you need to deal with them so that you don't have to make it worse, okay? Drinking caffeine, eating processed foods, not getting enough fluids. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Most importantly, it's about keeping your body well, keeping your body functioning normal, okay? If you don't feed it and give it liquids, it's not going to be functioning properly. It's like if you don't go get your oil changed in your car, what's going to happen? Your engine's going to explode, right? So we need to make sure that we're keeping ourselves well. We can't physically and mentally stay well if we don't put the right things on our body to keep it well. And I'm going to come to that too. Consuming alcohol does not help. Lack of sleep and comparing yourself to others, low self-esteem. Here are some benefits. Making sure that we aren't having some sort of like vitamin or mineral deficiency. It's important because our bodies need vitamins as much as it needs healthy foods and it needs water. We need vitamins to keep us well. And some of those vitamins can come from our foods, but if you're not eating super healthy, we need to have some supplements, right? Magnesium. I love magnesium. I take it every night for bed. Some people use it for anxiety. Some people use it for sleep. Some people use it for muscle relaxation. But magnesium, they say sleeping difficulties. If you're having trouble sleeping and you're having troubles physically, you might have a magnesium deficiency. They say sleeping difficulties, muscle spasms and pain, anxiety, depression, headaches, and fatigue. Sometimes you just need magnesium. You can go to Walmart and get a huge bottle of it for $3.50. And so it's just something that's beneficial. It helps you relax. It's a natural way to curb your anxiety. It's a natural way to help you fall asleep at night. It just helps you calm down, relax. It just helps with a lot of things. Can help with your tummy, upset stomach, things like that. If you are experiencing brittle nails, dry skin, high blood pressure, tingling in your fingers, chronic itching, tooth decay, you need calcium. Some of us don't drink milk. Some of us never ever get an ounce of calcium in our system, and our body needs that. If your hair is kind of fragile and brittle and your nails are just icky and you've got dry skin, you need calcium. So if you're not going to drink milk, make sure you're going to get a calcium vitamin. You know, sometimes you can get a multivitamin, which is really helpful. And a lot of this is going to help you with your anxiety because our body is trying to tell us something. It's that fight or flight again. And if we can get the right vitamins in our system and we can heal our gut and we can just make ourselves feel better, hopefully everything else kind of decreases too. Low body temperatures, weak nails, weakness, fatigue, swollen or sore tongue, cold hands and feet, and pale skin means you're low on iodine, which is interesting. But ultimately, before you really start putting a lot of these supplements into your system, you should probably go get a physical. Talk to your doctor about doing some blood work. See if you're low and deficient in anything. You might be surprised. Even when I had went to the doctor and did some blood work, I was surprised at the things that I was low in. For instance, vitamin D and B, and the things that really just help us feel better. If you have a weak immunity and you are experiencing acne or rashes, thinning hair, or allergies or anything like that, especially during this COVID, they say zinc. Take lots of zinc. Well, I shouldn't say lots, but take your zinc. This is something that's going to help with your immune system. This is going to keep us strong and hopefully keep us well. So go get zinc. It's so important, especially right now. Potassium, if you're having abdominal cramps, heart palpitations, nausea, ringing in your ears, feeling dizzy or constipation, potassium. If your potassium is low, that can really affect your body too. Something really silly before I leave you today. What are some 10 benefits of pickle juice? Now, I don't like pickle juice, but I have a sister who would just drink it probably straight all the time. Pickle juice helps with soothing muscle cramps. It helps you stay hydrated. There's vinegar in it, and there's so many benefits to vinegar. It's a fat-free recovery aid. Pickle juice contains no fat. It does have some calories, but it's good for you. It contains antioxidants. Pickle juice has significant amounts of vitamin C and E. We need those things. It may support your weight loss. It's because it has the vinegar, and vinegar is good for your body, and it helps with weight loss. It can also help control your blood sugar levels. The vinegar helps control or regulate blood sugars. It can improve your gut health. Vinegar and pickle juice can help you stay healthy. Dill is healthy for you. Choose dill pickle juice for more potent benefits. And it sweetens your breath. Both dill and vinegar have antibacterial properties, so it's going to make you have good breath. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm going to believe them, I guess, because I know that vinegar and dill is good for you. And so we're just talking about ways to make our anxiety better, help your body stay well. I know it's not Wellness Wednesday, but I just thought these were kind of interesting. So I guess the moral of the story is go get some pickle juice. Make sure you're taking your vitamins. Make sure you're eating right and getting plenty of sleep. and make sure you are just taking good care of yourself. Now, like I said, it is going to get hot this week. Stay cool. Today is going to be a beautiful day, but that doesn't mean you can't go for a walk. You can go for a walk early in the morning. You can even go in the evening. Just bring a water bottle with you. But most importantly, take care of yourself. Make sure you're monitoring how you're feeling, using your toolbox, and just really trying to make sure you're using your coping skills and feeling your best. Happy Tuesday. Happy June 1st. It's good to see you all, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.